Okay, for this particular part, you're going to need, I've got some wood glue here, I've got some epoxy, and I've got a couple of clamps. I love these quick grip clamps that you just down and all that. I love them. I use them a lot. And it's best also to have some paper towels to kind of wipe off the glue a little bit and stuff. Alright. Now, I'm going to mix my epoxy here. Okay. There's my knife. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my epoxy. I don't need a whole lot, but I need enough to mix up. I'm going to mix that epoxy together. I'm sorry. You mix until it becomes a milky, kind of a milky white. This is just a clear epoxy. It's Loctite. I like Loctite epoxy. I'm going to put a little bit of epoxy in here. And a little epoxy in here. And I'm going to put my knife blade in there. And now I'm going to put some epoxy here and here. I told you this way up a little bit. Don't worry about it, a little mess. You can get that epoxy off later. And then I like to come with wood glue and put some here and here. Up to that point. Now, I'm going to put these together. You're going to have a little epoxy and stuff come out, but we get rid of that with a, that's what, just like this, that's what the thing is for. And of course when you put your, so you have your blade in there the way you want it. Okay? Now, you take, I'm so sorry, your clamps, and you clamp your top here, together, and you've got a little wood glue, a little epoxy, and you take your back clamps get this right, and right, and you, I don't know why, having a little bit of trouble here. It's okay. Got them. There it is. Now I got it. Ah, there we are. A little bit more. Let me. There we go. There we are. There we are. We got it. You put your, and you take your stuff, and you just wipe this glue off a little bit, because when you put the clamps on, of course, you're going to have some come out, and that can be the way. Okay, now I've got the, move this out of the way. I have the blade inside. That's why they put this little rubber on here, so I can fool with it and not get it on the blade. I have the blade inside, and I have my together, and I have it all together. Now you're going to have to let this, I usually let this dry for, sometimes I just leave it overnight and let it dry, and then next thing we'll do is we'll shape the blade, we'll shape the handle the way we want it. And you say, well, why did I use white glue here and epoxy here? I don't know. I think it's because I want the epoxy in the blade area, and because I don't think white glue would probably hold as good. It might. I don't know. I prefer the epoxy in that area where the blade is, and you know, just have it there and that stuff. So anyway, okay. So we're going to let that dry, and we've got it clamped now. I usually let it dry. I like to let it dry overnight. Make sure that the epoxy dries good. Make sure that the now there's a lot of argument of what's the best epoxy and stuff, and I find Loctite epoxy, general purpose epoxy, very good. I mean, maybe there's better epoxy. I know Gorilla Glue makes one and all that stuff, but I think most of your epoxy is the same. I've read about Loctite and Duro's another brand I've used. It's basically they're the same. There's not that much difference between them if you read what they got in them and everything like that. So I like to use that type of epoxy, and so we'll let it dry, and we'll come back later and we'll take it and then we'll shape our handle. Okay, God bless now.